there! My name is Elizabeth Makos, and I am a partner with Retro Fitness who is here to help you make small changes to your diet in order to see long-lasting results. As part of their Get Real initiative, Retro Fitness is helping members get healthy not only inside of the gym, but outside of it. After all that hard work we put into the gym is a futile effort. We then go home and eat like a bunch of drunken college students. So I'm going to be giving you some great nutrition tips and some healthy recipes that you can feel good about cooking. A healthy meal doesn't need to be gluten-free or vegan or dairy-free. I prefer recipes that taste like normal ones, but have some healthy hacks in them so they're better for you, but you don't feel like you're robbing yourself of a good meal. One of my favorite cookbook collections for those kind of recipes is called Skinny Taste, and today we are making her bagels. I'm an East Coast girl, so I love a good bagel. But if you eat too many of those things, you're gonna develop a bagel of your own around here. You know what I mean? These bagels are super easy to make, and they contain significantly less fat and more protein than the bagels we currently buy. The secret to this recipe is non-fat Greek yogurt. Yes, you heard that correctly. A yogurt that is, according to Oikos, fat-free and God-worthy. It's quite the claim. The best part is you'd never know that this yogurt, although apparently life-changing, is even in the recipe. Let's take a look at all the other ingredients we're gonna need to make these bad boys. Five ingredients for at-home bagels really isn't bad, is it? They're incredibly easy to make too, so let's get started. We are going to combine our flour, salt, and baking powder in a bowl using a whisk. We're using a whisk because all these little prongs are going to help disperse the dry ingredient particles really well, as opposed to a wooden spoon, for example. Everything is nicely integrated, so now we're going to switch to a wooden spoon, and we're going to add our Greek yogurt. We've got a nice little dough here, so now we're just going to quickly knead this, which is basically the process of manhandling the dough so that it builds the structure for the dough. And you can do this either on a cutting board, or you can disinfect your countertop and do it directly on there, which is probably the easiest. And I know you all have disinfectant on hand because I haven't been able to buy Lysol wipes in at least 6 months. For the kneading, all you have to do is lightly dust your countertop with some flour. So we're gonna plop our dough here, kind of flatten this out a little bit. And we're gonna start by grasping the side of the dough that's furthest from you and folding it in half towards you, and then using the heels of your hands, push the dough onto itself. Now we're going to rotate our dough a quarter turn and repeat the process. Now you don't need to be shy with this dough. As Ice Cube said, you can do it, put your back into it. We're gonna repeat this about 13 times, and feel free to sprinkle some flour onto your dough if it gets a little too sticky. We're almost done. And don't worry about adding too much flour, because honestly, I had to sprinkle a little bit on almost every quarter turn because this dough was pretty sticky. So be as generous as you want with it. Here's our little dough ball. Looks fantastic. So we're gonna cut this into 4 sections, and then we're gonna roll each section into a rope that's about 3/4 of an inch thick, and then we're going to tie the ends of the rope together to form our bagels. Here we go. Rolling away. It's actually a little bit easier to roll this if you don't have this directly on flour, just so you know. And here we go. Join them together. How darling. Now onto a lined sheet tray we go. Here are our little cuties. So I put these on a silicone mat on my sheet tray. If you're using parchment paper, just give it a light spray so these don't stick to that. And next, we're just going to put some egg wash on these, which is basically just a beaten egg, and our seasoning. Make sure you cover every nook and cranny. You're all brushed and ready for seasoning. Feel free to use whatever seasoning you want. If you want to use cinnamon and sugar or dried onions, I'm using an everything judging by the size of this container, I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. It's time for these bagels to have their Hansel and Gretel moment. So we're gonna go in the oven. It's been preheated to 375, and we're gonna bake these on the top rack for 25 minutes. Our bagels are all done. Don't they look great? I'm gonna let these cool for about 15 minutes because who wants to stick their teeth into a flaming hot dough ball? All right, these are slightly cool. Look at the bottom of this, by the way. Look how perfectly brown that is. Those silicone mats do not play. Would you ever think that there's yogurt in this? No, neither would I. I am putting whipped cream cheese on mine because it actually has less calories than even light cream cheese. The more you know. I'm pretty excited about this. Very good. I gotta say, this is kind of life-changing. I've never actually made my own bagels before, so to have one homemade, fresh out of the oven is pretty awesome. And they're only 150 calories per bagel with 10 grams of protein. Can you think of anything better? No. I know you're going to love these as much as I do. When you want to make them at home, all the recipe information is in the video description. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today, and thank you to Retro Fitness for helping America get well again. We'll see you next time.